lot of systemic factors in play. TMZ actually went and got the air traffic control audio, which is kind of crazy to think about. Crazy that it's TMZ that actually acquired the audio. But here it is.
Pass 1 is RJ. Q 17. I don't know if you caught earlier what happened, but there was a collision on the approach to 33. 6342. Approach to 342. That's a Wilsonbury tank for runway 33, clear to land.
Did you see that?
Oh, that's public and AP got it first for what it's worth? Oh, okay.
American 3130, go around, turn left end 250, climb maintain 3000. Blackjack 3, can you return to base? What? Blackjack 3, proceed direct.
Yeah, sorry for the spam, but I'm an amateur pilot. No media anywhere is stating that the U.S. military just killed 60 or so people, and everyone is focusing on the FAA staffing when the 3 people on the heli should have seen the shit out of the plane. Yeah, no, this is entirely. There are still systemic factors at play. I think the FAA firings or the FAA downsizing is a major problem here. I think that plays a role for sure. But yeah, it's entirely the military's fault here for sure. They did it on purpose. I suspect that this is going to draw a lot of conspiratorial minded people. The question we must ask ourselves and everyone else is, why would the American military assassinate 60 American citizens in the most public spectacle you have seen? What is the purpose? I cannot wait for the actual people that were on the flight so that people can continue doing more conspiracy theories saying that like this accountant that was on the plane was actually investigating Jeffrey Epstein or something, and that's the reason why they did that. When in fact, here is CNN revealing one air traffic controller was working 2 different tower positions at the time of the mid-air collision near Washington, D.C., an air traffic control source tells CNN. But before we do that, before we get to all the additional details, now that I've given you what we know so far, before we investigate the crash in and of itself, let's hear what Donald Trump had to say, because he held a press briefing on the aviation disaster. I haven't seen this yet, but let me suspect something. I'm going to be speculating on something that took place already. I'm assuming that DEI will be mentioned. Let's take a look.
I'd like to request a moment of silence for the victims and their families, please. Thank you very much. I speak to you this morning.
Isn't it awesome that there's just something that you can always blame when your decisions, like when your administrative decisions could directly lead to these issues? You can always turn around and just be like, nah, it's the fact that black people may or may not have been working the job. Great stuff, man. It's always a fantastic, super easy way to deflect the blame. I was a CH-47 crew chief. The helicopter could not have taken down the plane on purpose. They could have been in the wrong place and the plane would hit them if the ATC didn't catch them and correct in time. Helicopters are very slow compared to airliners. Yeah, I don't know why people think that the helicopter literally directly collided with the plane deliberately. It's insane. I don't think people understand how fast planes are and how slow helicopters are in comparison. And they just think it's like Grand Theft Auto 5, maybe. It's because the video looked like it was flying straight to it. Yeah, from your perspective, it looks like the helicopter is flying straight into the plane. That's physically not possible unless a plane has been parked. A helicopter, like a plane that is, even when a plane is landing, they're still faster than a helicopter. Even when the plane is approaching the runway, is still going like, 150, 140, 120, 100 miles. Like, have you never seen a plane land? Like, think about how fast it is when it touches the ground, even when it touches the runway. Think about how fast that plane is. And that is after the plane has already pumped the brakes, per se.
But we'll find out how this disaster occurred, and we'll ensure that nothing like this ever happens again. The FAA and the NTSB and the U.S. military will be carrying out a systematic and comprehensive investigation. Our new Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy, his second day on the job. When that happened, it's a rough one. We'll be working tirelessly. He's a great gentleman. The whole group these are great people, and they are working tirelessly to figure out exactly what happened. We will state certain opinions, however. I'm also immediately appointing an acting commissioner to the FAA.
Trump signs an order blaming Biden and DEI for flight dangers. No. This can't be real. Like, I mean, this is, I'm sure this is real. Of course it's real. That's very Trump. But like, there's no way people actually believe this, right? Like I think stuff like this is it's going to lead to diminished results. Right? Because you can't constantly say, this is a consequence of woke. This is a consequence of DEI. This is a consequence of woke DEI over and over again. And then expect people to go, yeah, that's right. That is probably what it is. Like there's no, okay, I'm calling it now. I think they're exhausting it too much. They're hitting the woke. You have no idea what's coming, Unc. No, I think the average person is going to be like, all right, dude, come on. I think that you can only exhaust that for so long. People inevitably experience fatigue. That's what it is. I think looking at look, you want to know why I think this? Because notice how he started this conversation. He started this by reading a piece of paper instead of freestyling. That implies the severity of the tragedy. Number two, in the piece of paper that he's reading, he said things along the lines of, today we are united as one nation. That also implies the severity of the tragedy. Donald Trump is an insane person who normally doesn't care about anything other than himself. So much so that he would have gotten in here and just basically started freestyling. The fact that he's even trying to read the paper and stick to script implies the severity of the situation. So when you have something like this, when you have an accident like this happen, that is a truly great tragedy, and you immediately hit the DEI button, other people are going to look at this and go, is it though? Come on, man. You say that about everything. And this is just the first instance. I'm saying this is the first instance. Oh, just you wait. You haven't played in long enough, he's gonna start cooking. No, I know. Guys, I know he is going to start cooking. Of course he's gonna start cooking. It's Donald Trump. He's a narcissistic asshole. Of course he's gonna start chirping about a bunch of different things. I already told you I didn't watch this yet, and I knew he was gonna blame DEI. But my point is, the people's reception to crisis like this is inevitably going to lead to diminished results for the DEI vein that they keep tapping into. That's all I'm saying. And it's not necessarily about like the faith I place on the people that vote for this guy. I just think that narratives like these are effective if you use them briefly. If you constantly say it over and over again, people get bored of it.
Faye Christopher Rocheleau, a 22-year veteran of the agency, highly respected. Christopher, thank you very much. Appreciate it. We must have only the highest standards for those who work in our aviation system. I changed the Obama standards from very mediocre at best to extraordinary. You remember that. Only the highest aptitude, they have to be the highest intellect and psychologically superior people were allowed to qualify for air traffic controllers. That was not so prior to getting there. When I arrived in 2016, I made that change very early on because I always felt this was a job that...
Like, I'll give you a direct example, okay? Egg prices are supposed to go down. They don't go down, they get more expensive, right? Let's say egg prices get more expensive. You can't just keep saying it's DEI. At a certain point, people are going to be like, but you're the fucking president. Do you understand what I mean? Some people will turn around and say, oh, well, egg prices aren't going down because it's like has nothing to do with the president whatsoever. I just realized that, even though I didn't realize it under the Biden administration. But like, people will still experience the harm and will go, okay, well, my president's not doing anything. Do you see what I'm saying? You can blame DEI over and over and over again, and it'll be effective for many people. It'll be effective for a lot of people. I'm sure Asmongold's community is like, hell yeah, even though it was a straight white airplane pilot, straight white helicopter pilot, straight white air traffic controller, straight white FAA administrator fired by straight white president and straight white billionaires or whatever. Ultimately, it's actually the fault of woke, right? Like that. Some people in Asmongold's community probably fucking eat this up. My point is, some people. I don't even think all people in Asmongold's community will eat this up. Do you see what I'm saying? Because like, it's too much. It's too much. Like, there's not a single like black or brown person involved in it, which most people don't give a shit about, right? But also outside of that, it's like, come on, dude, you literally say this about everything. At a certain point, even people who are believers committed to this cause are going to be like, it's like, what are we doing here? Oh, 9/11 is a DEI situation. You know what I mean? It's like looking at 9/11 and being like, this only happened because of DEI. Like, you're ridiculous at that point. Do you see what I mean? The JFK assassination only occurred because of DEI. It's like, no, there are certain things that transcend beyond that, and people want answers. And when you slam the DEI piece onto it, when you hammered the DEI button over and over and over again, people are going to be like, okay, well, I'm with you, brother. I think that, we got to deport these migrants. And